Africa is the youngest continent. Majority of the population are under 35.
What are we doing about the youth? Because the youth constitute one of the important pillars that we're focused on.
Let me say the youth are not only the future of this region, but I believe we are the present and future.
If we define what do we mean by young people, there is this external perception that young people are a homogeneous group. This is not the reality. We have also young people in vulnerable settings. We have young people with disabilities, and we have foremost young women.
But again, a population that is ill-skilled and unemployed can be a demographic curse. So this is the challenge, but the opportunity is in us trying to convert this demographic dividend into opportunities.
But also young people, as being the largest population, they are our biggest asset.
Because the richness of nations is not in stones, but in its people.
It's never been more important to develop our youth into confident and transformational leaders that can navigate Africa through the incoming economic and political climates. Africa's youth are faced with growing concerns about how to thrive in their purpose, and that's where YouLead Africa comes in. Founded in 2017, we are Africa's flagship youth leadership program, following the youth's greater demands and expanding our work from the East African community to the continent.
There are many challenges facing young people on the African continent. The biggest one of them is that each and every one of the young people in Africa have the desire to become a leader. I think investments should be made more to build the capacity of young people in Africa to become effective leaders.
Under globalization, the world is small. The whole world outside there has skills. We need to equip our youth with the requisite skills so that they participate properly, even in global interaction.
And this means that we need to do more to create economic opportunities and work opportunities for young people.
YouLead for me represents that opportunity for young people to first of all think about their problems collectively and then develop, if it be disruptive strategies to take action on addressing those challenges.
The summit, it's not just a 3 days or 4 or 5 days event for young people to come and chit-chat and go home. Whatever they are saying is influencing our one-year work, what we call the post-summit agenda.
With now more than 10,000 alumni and over 30 partners, and active partner-led work in all 5 major African regions, a One Young Africa is our vision.
We have a great vision. We're envisioning 150 delegates in person, 20,000 virtually, but this is not, to me, the only success indicator. The success indicator is ensuring that all these 20,000 young people virtually provide inputs and meaningfully engage throughout the conversation, and all their suggestions are then incorporated into our post-summit agenda.
Look at 2017, just East Africa coming together, thousands of African young people.
YouLead Summit 2021, we are proud to announce that we are going continental, coming together as a One Young Africa.
And we want actually to break the borders. The CFTA is here. We want African young people to come together under YouLead Summit platform, trade together across the borders, innovate together across the borders, and create jobs as well as prosper together.
That's what drove us to become, One Young Africa. We have the potential and the capacity to do so.
From 8th to 12th November 2021, we are hosting Africa's largest hybrid summer ever with YouLead Africa's patron, His Excellency Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, former President of Tanzania as Chief Convener, and Honorable Dr. Peter Matuki, the EAC Secretary General as co-convener. The theme is The Future of Africa, creating jobs, feeding and housing the world's youngest continent.
I call upon policymakers, development partners, the private sector, media, civil society, and other stakeholders to be part of and support the East African community in convening this year's YouLead Summit.
It will attract participation from all the partner states of the EAC and indeed the continent. I thank you. Asanteni sana. See you in Arusha. Tujenge vijana wetu.
Since 2017, YouLead Summit, as popularly known, is jointly convened annually by the East African Community and MS Training Center for Development Cooperation in Arusha, Tanzania, in collaboration with a myriad of partners.
COVID-19 is both a blessing and a curse, equally.
We have seen how the COVID pandemic has hit very hard young people.
And this is why YouLead Africa will bring together more than 15,000 people on a single platform, because travel is restricted, but more people come together through the internet, courtesy of COVID-19.
We are welcoming a virtual and physical audience from all African countries together on the same platform.
Nonetheless, COVID-19 has reduced the opportunities for young people. Young people have lost jobs, and COVID-19 pushes us beyond the boundary to innovate and create jobs that we have lost using COVID-friendly mechanisms such as online platforms, as well as increased cooperation between and among young people across the borders, especially under the CFTA, which regards that trade should happen beyond borders of any country.
The 2021 summit will be delivered in the form of thematic forums. The Under 40 Political Leaders Forum, which examines current representative democracy models. The Under 40 Business Leaders Forum assesses the existing environment for doing business.
So it is important to engage and involve youth from initial discussion about our drive to promote continental free trade area.
The Arusha Debates is infused into YouLead Summit to generate insights into how to make social and economic development a reality.
Yes, so the Arusha Debates is being convened by ourselves, SADC. As you know, we're quite curious, but also propagate Pan-Africanism and knowledge that is homegrown and bred.
Arusha hosts a number of higher education institutions, and it's the right place for hosting the Arusha Debates. The Tanzanian government has been so keen under the leadership of Our Excellence Samia Suluhu Hassan in getting all the youth participate.
The Arusha Peace Model showcases models that promote the role of youth in peace building. The Gender Equality Forum discusses ways to dismantle the structural causes at the root of gender inequality. East Africa to Bonge, a joint flagship initiative of YouLead Africa and Kenya Young Parliamentarians Association, KYPA, to foster young leaders' legislative enlightenment. YouLead Summit 2021 key milestones. Launch of the East African Youth Agenda. Unveiling the inaugural EAC YouLead Fellowship. Launch of the Youth Governance Architecture Study Series. Unveiling the Elected Young Leaders Performance and Cooperation Peer Review Mechanism. Launch of the Arusha Debates through the inaugural Arusha Debates session. There are so many opportunities for partnership and ways to work with us or contribute financially to our cause. Contact us. You can also connect with us through our social media channels at One Young Africa.
YouLead Summit 2019 is the Africa that we want.
And I really appreciate YouLead Summit for giving us a platform on how we can build a collective power to create a sustainable movement that will help us create change in our society.
So I'm very, very happy to participate in YouLead Summit 2019.
YouLead Summit is really awesome.
YouLead Summit Youth Power.
YouLead Summit is empowering.
YouLead Africa, a One Young Africa, where dreams are born and youth become leaders.
Thank you so very much for that. You know, as I'm sure just as we all have noticed, the YouLead Africa is on another trajectory in trying to see how best we can unify youth voices for action in order to champion Africa's transformation. And I think it's a silent call for all of us as young people, you know, to take advantage of such amazing opportunities that are actually coming our way, being provided by YouLead and many other partnering organizations across Africa. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. When Africa is taking over the YouLead platform today, as we engage on the governance we all want to see for the SADC that we actually envision. When we talk about matters of governance, I'm sure many of us on this platform, we have our various definitions, we have our various views, we have our various perception as regards what governance might mean in our own space. And that's the reason as to why we want to deliberate on this amazing conversation. What's the kind of governance we want to see in order to re-envision, or rather to envision, the SADC that we all want to see for ourselves? My name is Mwila Wanga from Zambia, and I shall be your host for this amazing discussion. And before we even get started, I'm sure that many of us, we're introducing ourselves in the chat box. I can see Lucy all the way from Uganda. I can see many people from Zambia. I can see Chris Jengela from Tanzania. I can see, comrades all the way from Ghana, Zambia joining us. I would love to go through and talk about everyone that has been able to comment in our section. But I think it's important that we set the tone for what it is that we're trying to discuss right now. And this is not only a conversation for the speakers that shall be deliberating during this amazing session, but it's basically it's a platform for all of us that have tuned in. We have 35 participants right now. This is your platform. The speakers that shall be speaking with us today they're not the gurus in the topic that we are trying to, to discuss right now, but all of us on this platform, we have a role to play in discussing the governance we all want to see for the SADC that we envision. So a few rules for the house before we get started. I'm kindly asking that may we have our mics muted, while we are engaging. If there's a speaker on the floor, please let's have our mics muted. I think it's just courtesy. When I'm also speaking as your servant of this humble platform, I ask that you have your mics muted. And please, let's keep our chat box active, while the speakers are engaging, while the speakers are talking, while they're giving their submissions. Let us take all our reactions in the chat box. Let's give our questions. Let us give our submissions. I'm going to give time to be able to read out all those amazing questions and submissions. So to quickly get started, I have two amazing guests with me. And I'm praying that they're actually with us at this moment in time, because it will become very difficult to drive this amazing discussion in their absence. So I have an amazing and visionary-driven young lady all the way from Lesotho by the name of Pearl Lawrence. She's been doing amazing work in the field of youth and women activism and in many other spectrum. But I wouldn't want to introduce her. I would like her to introduce herself. I think it's always important that we take time to introduce ourselves. So, Madam Pearl Lawrence, if you're in this, on this platform at this moment in time, I give you the floor so that you may introduce yourself for our audience to know who it is they'll be chatting with. Madam Pearl. Pearl Lawrence, are you with us? Let me just check with them. Okay, Madam Pearl Lawrence is asking to be unmuted. Just a minute, let me do that for you, ma'am. To the people working in the background, kindly help to unmute Madam Pearl Lawrence for us. Our technical team in the background, kindly unmute Madam Pearl for us.
Pearl, you're ready. You can unmute yourself. You don't need to do it on our end. So we've just sent you a request to unmute. So just go ahead.
Yeah, Pearl, you can easily unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself. Pearl, you can easily unmute yourself. Okay, I think we're having some technical challenges. Is Comrade Gift Ostalos with us? Is Comrade Gift Ostalos with us? I think our speakers are having some technical issues, so we've asked them to just exit the room and they'll be able to join us anytime soon. So maybe before our speakers join us, just set the tone for our discussion. One of the things that we're actually trying to talk about, on this important platform is, when we talk about matters of governance, we have been living in a period of COVID-19. So one thing that we want to do is to hear from our speakers, how have we as SADC, how have we responded to the impact of COVID-19? We also want to hear from our speakers.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Oh, perfect. Yes, Pearl, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much. And I'd really like to apologize for my connectivity problem. My name is Pearl Lawrence and I'm from Lesotho. I am a youth and women rights activist. I'm also the vice chairperson of the Interim National Youth Council of Lesotho. I'm also the president of a Bacha Shutdown movement, which is a youth protest movement that was actually hosted on the 6th of November 2020. And I'm also the vice president of the Transform Lesotho initiative. Thank you so much for having me. And I really cannot wait to start engaging on these issues.
Awesome. Thank you so very much for that introduction, Pearl. Thank you so much. I want to quickly confirm, do we have Comrade Gift Ostalos with us? As Comrade Gift Ostalos is trying to connect, I think to get the ball running, Madam Pearl, I think, the first question I want to ask, I think is directly focusing on you. We are talking about, the governance we need for the SADC that we envision. What does this important, theme, what does it mean to you? Is there a need for us to think about a particular governance system that we all want to see? What kind of governance environment do we want to create for ourselves in order to champion the kind of SADC that we all envision for ourselves? What does this topic that we're trying to deliberate on, what does it really mean to you? Maybe you can please share with us some of your views on that.
Thank you so much. So, with the SADC region, I've always had, pretty much the challenge to understand this whole mandate of regional integration, because I think from its inception, they have always been talking about regional integration, and which has pretty much manifested itself, historically in Africa, America, and Europe, as a bureaucratic effort like to facilitate political unification and some sort of expansion on capitalism. So that on its own, it's so frustrating to just even politically, I guess it depends on which end you're on. If you are a developed African country, maybe you are on like the benefiting side, whereas whereby you are on the less developed, and it becomes a bit stifling as a country, because that means you get to run with the mandate of all these other countries, and even the decision making is not very collective and inclusive. And for proper governance, you need inclusiveness. That's inclusiveness of every voice, every race, every gender, and we're looking at the inception of the regional grouping, like since 1992, and you look at how, I'm so sorry, we have membership that are built from certain governments, and they then becomes some sort of misrepresentation as they are lacking or other groups that are not represented. It'd be really nice to have certain groups such as, specific NGOs, youth involved, women, LGBTQ, all these other groups that are represented, and they get to have a voice on the governance and the running of these regional communities. And we get to look at the issues of accountability. For good and proper governance, we need a body that we can actually hold accountable. Now, here's the thing with these SADC members, member countries, we get to have I'm so sorry. But we get to have like the regional groupings. We've got to see that any decision that is made based on the mandate of the government. And even if you as a country or as a government, you have maybe a certain view or an opinion on something, like because of the majority overruling, like it becomes a bit of a challenge to be able to represent yourself, but rather the decision becomes so stifling to you as the country that is of the latter. And now you cannot necessarily, now you have to go according to the voted on or the decided on decision. Is my connection okay? I'm struggling. Is it?
No, you're perfectly well, Madam Pearl. And maybe to quickly, bring in Comrade Gift on exactly what you've also stated. You've brought out so many topics, the need for, SADC member states to be accountable and to each other. You've talked about the need of diversity, gender, and inclusion in order to champion the kind of SADC that we are envision, because I believe, all those, views that you have actually established are important if we have to think of a particular governance structure for the SADC that we actually envision. So those are profound statements you've actually brought out. And I think even the participants on this platform have benefited from some of their views. So we have more questions that are yet to come to you, Madam Pearl. So before we exhaust you completely, we want to hear from Comrade Gift. So Comrade Gift, if you're here, please kindly introduce yourself. And in 2 minutes, tell us, what does this topic mean to you? The governance we need for the SADC that we envision. Comrade Gift. Comrade Gift, are you with us? Hello? My brother Gift Ostalos, the platform is yours. Hey, Southern Africa seems to be having serious technical issues. Comrade Gift, are you with us, my brother? Okay, so looking at time, I think I want our participants, please send in your views. What governance do you expect us to have, for the SADC that we envision, even as Comrade Gift is actually trying to connect with us? I think, Madam Pearl, you talked about something very, very important. You talked about matters of diversity, gender, and inclusion. SADC has been regarded to be a big boys club in one way or the other. And, I believe, we have so many protocols that have been put in place, as regards the involvement of youth and women in championing the development agenda of our region. However, the question I want to ask you, Madam Pearl, is to what extent have we progressed in ensuring that we involve young people as well as women as key drivers in driving the development agenda? One thing that we have actually, perfect, Comrade Gift.
Very much. revolutionary greetings. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, my brother.
Greetings, comrades. How are you?
Maybe because of network, maybe you can turn off your video, just use your audio. Maybe the network might be better.
Okay, can you confirm you can hear me?
We can hear you, comrade.
Okay, thank you very much. Greetings, comrades.
Greetings to you, my brother.
Yeah, now I can proceed.
You can proceed with your submission, Comrade Gift. Just introduce yourself and tell us what does the theme that we're discussing today, what does it really mean to you, the governance we need for the SADC Envision?
Thank you very much. My name is Gift Ostalos Siziba. I'm the current National Deputy Spokesperson of the Movement for Democratic Change, led by Advocate Nelson Chamisa in Zimbabwe. I'm a former student leader, having served in Zimbabwe National Students Union, also having served in the Southern African Students Union. I'm also in broad activism in
Network seems to be
put my submissions on the front of governance in the Southern Africa, but also with the global struggles. And my first submission on today's
maybe Comrade Gift, try to exit, then you come back again. Okay, so maybe as our brother is trying to reconnect, we can go into our trivia session, where we just test our brains and to see how intelligent we may be as our brother is trying to reconnect. I believe he's having some technical issues, but if all goes well, he's somebody that I believe we can all benefit from. So as we wait for our brother to reconnect, and as we get into our other discussion with Madam Pearl and a few other statements that we have, in our chat box and what we can actually talk about, we can go into our trivia session, and I'll ask my technical team from the other end to support me as we try to see how best we can test a bit of some brain, or a bit of our intelligence. So in our trivia session, yes, those are the guests we have, very handsome and beautiful people. Okay, so in our trivia session, the first question, the first question that we have, in this session is, who was the Egyptian king whose tomb and treasures were discovered in the Valley of the Kings in 1922? Who was the Egyptian king whose tomb and treasures were discovered in the Valley of the Kings in 1922? You may lift your hand if you think you are as bright as we are to answer this amazing question. You can simply unmute yourself if you think you have the answer to the question. someone with major history knowledge could please give us the answer to that. Okay, so maybe looking at our time, we can simply just go ahead. We can simply just go ahead and answer the question. and give you the answer to the question. So it was yes, Tutankhamen. I don't know how you might pronounce that. Maybe we might go to the second question because of time. Let's quickly go to the second question because of time. By which name was Zimbabwe known in 1965 to 1979? This one is very easy. By which name was Zimbabwe known in 1965 to 1979? You may please unmute your mic and give us the answer to that.
Southern Rhodesia.
We'll send you a gift, comrade. The next question is, at which town do the white and blue now join? At which town do the white and blue now join? May please unmute and give the answer to that.
It joins in Khartoum.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I think it's important to be having such important information on our fingertips. It's such kind of information that helps us to rewrite the narrative of our great continent. Many of us as young people don't know where we are coming from, and we don't know so much that is happening across the African continent. So it's important that we have this information on our fingertips. So thank you so much to our technical team for a trivia session. Maybe we can get back to our discussion with our speakers. Is as Comrade Gift connected with us? Okay, so maybe to just go into our chat box and maybe answer a few.
Yes, I'm connected.
Okay, perfect. Yes, we can hear you, my brother. So please go ahead. 2 minutes, my brother. Give us your submission in 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, young Democrat. There are fundamental 2 issues that I would want to have been raised. For me, good governance in Southern Africa in the next 100 years should be anchored fundamental on 2 things, which is accountability and equity. For me, these are at the center of good governance. If you look at the fundamental challenges that we face in the economy, in politics, is anchored around those that are in leadership to account. How them in different, that is in politics, that is in leadership at community level, that is in leadership in terms of the legislative arm of different Southern African governments. Number 2 is the question with the current problem that we face, be it education for young people in South Africa, be it questions of migration, be it questions of poverty, issues around equitable distribution of resources or state resources. So for me, good governance and African past the liberation generation that brought in independence, where the fundamental question was self-determination and sovereignty of the people, basically looking at fundamental political rights. But at this present juncture, we have moved on where the national democratic revolution, in my view, or the post-independent generation across the southern African continent must be looking at distribution of resources, because it is access to education, access to clean water, and all the other problems that our region. Me, I make the submission that there are fundamentally two issues that define the continental or the sub-regional question. It's about and where we get ethical leadership that is able to answer to the call of without a culture of creating big names by French Fanon around Black Skin Project. So for me, to replace those vicious cycles of colonial mentality, we need an ethical leadership, but that is anchored around accountability. Because when we have an accountable leadership, we know that society, social contracts are very solid, because African societies and the world at large survive or thrive on a strong social contract, which is the relationship between those who govern and those that are being governed. So to strengthen the social contract, which is the relationship between the people and the leadership, is the fundamental question of accountability. When we have an accountable leadership at community level, when we have accountable leadership at the parliamentary level, when we have accountable leadership at executive level, when we have a judiciary that is accountable, that when we have a legislature that is accountable, in the case of Zimbabwe in particular, we have got three arms of government, which is the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. So the legislature's role, as you all know, across the world, is about making the laws. So we need lawmakers that are accountable to the people. We need the judiciary that answers to the legislature when there are any judicial issues where the legislature makes the law. We need the executive that accounts again to the legislature, because that is the principle of separation of powers. So for me, all these things are zeroed in and around accountability. And then the fundamental question again becomes equity, which is about equal distribution of resources across different streams of history, across tribes, across ethnic groups, across regions in different countries, and then across our region, where we are talking about opening borders, where we are talking about free trade, where we are talking about South-to-South solidarity across the Southern African continent. So for me, when we have those equal distribution of resources at a polity, which is the local level in our country, which is Zimbabwe, but we then build beyond our borders to say, how do we create a solid economic order in the Southern African region? How do we create a solid political order in Southern African continent, so that we have leadership that is able and capacitated to distribute resources to benefit the majority of Blacks and people of Southern Africa in particular? I thank you.
Comrade, profound. Well articulated, my brother. And please don't go. We have a few more topics that we actually have to engage with each other. You know, I can see the comment section there is buzzing. You know, people are talking about, Comrade Gibbs talking about matters of ethical leadership, accountability, and inclusion. You know, and it's amazing that both our speakers, are bringing out these important points of ethical leadership, matters of inclusion and accountability. And I think we're moving in the right direction. You know, before I can read the what we have in our comment section, there's a hand from Chris, and I would love to give Chris the platform so that we can have a more inclusive platform where we all share knowledge with one another. So Chris, you have your hand up. Please, I want to give you a platform in 1 minute. Please share with us before I can go to our speakers.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving me this platform to contribute some sort of ideas regarding the young people with leadership in SADC. First of all, I would like to get back a little bit to the history, trying to look to the nation's founders in different countries. We should ask ourselves first, how old were they at the time when they were trying to find an independence for their countries? We find that most of them were youth, starting with Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere of Tanzania, going to Kenneth Kaunda of Zambia, and Kamuzu Banda in Malawi, Agustino Neto of Angola. These could be few to be mentioned. But what we are facing nowadays, young people has been kept themselves far away from politics. And even those who are trying to engage in politics are engaging in trying to save their own interests. And if you can agree with me, that most of them, if you find that they're supporting the oppressors, most of the African countries nowadays, we can just conclude that we are suffocating. Those in power are trying to keep themselves more stable and even making some sort of illegal ways to stay in power. We have seen what has been happening in Zambia some few months ago during election. You find that people cannot just go out of the power by voting until some sort of forces have been applied. Then it's a good call up for us, young people, to get involved not only for voting, but also contesting for some sort of positions in politics. By doing that, we shall find ourselves in a position of making changes. You know, most of the time, we have been hearing that politics maybe is for some people of a certain age. And when a young person gets involved, let's
quickly wrap up.
Exactly. So I think a good call up for young people is getting involved directly, not just for voting, but contesting. Believing that old people are, you know, we relate politics with some sort of untouchable things, untangible. We relate politics with something like majestic. You cannot get in politics if you are not fit enough. Those are things to be fought. And I don't know if each one of us is trying to go deeper in understanding all those stuff.
Exactly, Comrade Chris. And I think you're in the right direction. And I think that's even a question that I think we also have for our speakers. Creating an enabling environment for youth and women to participate in driving the development agenda is also important and it's also key. However, young people also have to fight for some of these spaces. So now, you know, following some of the views that have come from our brother Chris, I'll come to you, Madam Pearl. What do you think? You know, how are we faring as a SADC region as regards creating an enabling environment for youth and women to be regarded as key partners in driving the development agenda? Even as we go to our comment section, I know our comment section is buzzing with amazing statements and views, but I want to hear from you, Madam Pearl, coming from a background of being a youth and women activist. Do you think we're doing enough to create an enabling environment for youth and women to participate in driving the development agenda? Over to you, Madam Pearl. You may please unmute your mic, Madam Pearl, and you can give your submission on that question. Are we doing enough to create an enabling environment for youth and women? Pearl? If Gift, you're with us, maybe you can answer that question. Gift, are you with us? I think as our speakers are really trying to connect, it's really been unfortunate that it's quite unfortunate that most of our colleagues are having some technical issues in one way or the other. But maybe let me quickly go into our comment section. You know, our comment section is saying the principle of separation of power, the three arms of government, only then is important, that only then are we going to have a government that runs on a well-coordinated social contract. And then Charles goes on to say, borrowing from what Chris has mentioned, the founders of our great continent were youth who, above everything, had the interest of their nation at heart. in as much as the struggle is not against the colonial oppressors, we are still fighting against lack of quality education, corruption, mismanagement, and the narrative that is forced on us. We must be obliged to have a singular greater purpose as youth, the interest which is the progress of our continent. And then there's another comment coming from Budondo Winnie. Indeed, an independent I read this one. There's another comment coming in from Joseph Owino. I envision a diverse and inclusive governance system that factors everyone's rights from the team formation, policy formulation, up to implementation, so that the needs of everyone is factored in. Thank you so much, Joseph, for that. Policy direction. I have another comment coming in from Eric. This kind of governance should also identify problems encountered by various countries and to suggest appropriate policy options for enhancing democratic governance. It would be also an upper hand if it would also provide up-to-date information and cooperative analysis of the governance arena of the SADC region in respect of representation and accountability, citizen participation, local governance, and economic management and corporate governance. And maybe I can, so maybe before even I get back again, maybe Pearl, I'm giving you the platform, is the environment conducive for young people and women to participate as key drivers in driving the development agenda of our region? Pearl.
I guess it all comes from just trying to find out what conducive is, because at this point, any platform is open to anyone and everyone, as per mandate that is put forth by all these bodies. And we get to look even at how, I think there's like a SADC, is it a youth forum or of some sort? I think I read something about it in Malawi, and it was trying to achieve the very same method of inclusiveness of youth in decision making and in all activities within.
Are you there, Pearl? Hello, Pearl, are you there? I think as Pearl is getting back and trying to connect with us, I think something that's very important is that, I like the submissions that have come from some of our people in our chat box, even from Chris and many other people that have spoken. Creating an enabling environment for youth and women to participate in our region's development, I think is very important. I think it's past the stage where we only see young people as vuvuzelas, people that have to make noise on behalf of political players. I think we have to pass the stage where we only see young people as, comrades that are just going to be chanting slogans and being given low-key positions in political parties. But we have to include young people as key players in decision making. If Pearl is not back yet, I want to ask if Gift is around. Gift, are you there? Gift, are you there? Maybe I'll ask this question as we are about to start winding up. I would like to ask this question to the House, to our few participants that that are joining us right now. One of the key questions I want to ask is, we have I'm sure many of us know that we have the protocol on politics, defense, and security cooperations that was signed, I believe, in August 14, 2001. Which is intended to foster security and defense cooperation, promote peace, political stability, as well as conflict management. The question I want to ask to the House today and even to the speakers, that would want to take up this question is, how are we responding as SADC to the insurgency that is happening in Mozambique at this moment in time? Are we walking the talk as regards fostering regional peace and security as a region? If that's the case, what should be done? And how are we responding to the insurgency happening in Mozambique? And how can we come together as a region to curb that particular problem? If somebody has an answer for that amazing question in this house, please just unmute your mic and you can provide us with your analysis in only a minute. If the speakers, you got that question, you may also unmute your mic and give us your view on that. How responding?
Hi.
Mhm.
Am I clear now?
Yes, you are clear now, ma'am.
Oh, okay. I think the question that you had asked was pertaining to youth participation within SADC. So I was just saying, there's a lot of barriers, especially relating to, just the demography. We look at age restrictions, gender barriers, cultural factors that actually exclude youth from decision making. And, youth have limited time to sometimes develop skills and knowledge of decision making. And then we also have barriers relating to economic status. Now there's lack of economic means, or rather the income to participate. Now youth organizations tend to have limited funds. There's preoccupied, most of us are preoccupied with academic pursuits, or we're in search of jobs. And then, just organizational preparedness, as there's a bit of resistance. Adults, or the big dogs, are not ready to share the power with the youth. They believe that youth lack some sort of commitment capacity and some sort of temperament to participate in adult decision making processes. In Africa, women and children are often barred from decisions especially affecting family or community. Also in Africa, I know we still have problems of lack of space, for participation, lack of cooperation among youth organizations. These are some of the barriers that we tend to have and that are always put forth, which pretty much limit our participation, especially in decision making within.
Profound, Madam Pearl, profound. Thank you so much for that. And even in the chat box, somebody is agreeing with you right now to say providing the opportunity to involve youth and women has an impact on decision making, because to bring out the best in some of the people that are marginalized. Coming to you as we wind up, Comrade Gift, are we doing enough as SADC to curb the insurgence that is happening right now in Mozambique? And if that be the case, how much effort are we supposed to allocate in that particular crisis that we're having currently in our region right now? Off to you, my brother. Comrade Gift, are you there? Okay, so maybe at this moment in time, I'm sure my brother is really having some technical issues, I suppose. Maybe quickly, Comrade, I have right now. I'm going to give about about 3 minutes or so. I'm going to give it to the flow. So, Brother Noel, I'm going to give you a platform in 30 seconds. Please give your submission.
Okay, friend, thank you for giving me a chance. First of all, I need to comment on the governance that we need in Southern Africa. Sometimes I feel like the governance is not giving enough opportunity to the youth. And if the youth, we are not given the chance, it means we need to demand that we need to be given a chance. It cannot just be changed by that how we want. We need to do something as the youth, because sometimes the freedom is not given by the president, but it is demanded by those who are looked down. So for that, I think in Africa, our leaders also, they have to Now, right now, they have to believe that leadership is not about being powerful. It's about responsibility. That is why we call them leaders. So we all have a role to play with the government and those who are like who are not in government. And corruption is that this is what our region is we are facing so much. But it means we as the citizens of the country, we have a role to play so that to keep those in power accountable. We need to hold them accountable. That is our responsibility. If we keep quiet, and then you find that the laws, of course we have laws that is like they try to avoid corruption, but sometimes those things they cannot work. About the thing in Mozambique, to me, I don't think we are not doing enough as a region to stop the situation in Mozambique. Because, for example, myself, I am from Malawi, but I never heard that Malawi have sent military soldiers in Mozambique, because sometimes we feel like we are afraid. We forget that we don't have to make decisions. When we have to make decisions that affect our lives, we don't have to be driven by fear. It means neighboring countries to Mozambique, sometimes they are afraid to send their army to help in Mozambique, because they think that, oh, the rebels who are in Mozambique, they'll be trying now to come, they'll be flocking to other countries who are like close to Mozambique. That is one of the reasons. That is why people, they are afraid that if we send our soldiers in Mozambique, you find the rebels, they'll be fighting with us too. That is what I think the government of the region, they are afraid. And we have seen that the army which is over there is from Rwanda, which is very far from Mozambique. So for that, I don't think myself we are doing enough to help our family and friends who are also part of us of the region in Mozambique.
Profound, my brother. Thank you so much for that. Brother Noah talked about two important things, even as we come to our conclusion, is that, the need for us for young people to fight for their spaces. Even as we try to cry for an enabling environment, young people have to fight for their spaces. And the other point is that as SADC, we're not doing enough to deal with the issue in Mozambique. Brother Gift, have you been able to connect again? Brother Gift? Brother Gift? Okay. I think we proceed. I think looking at time, I'm going to, I'll give an opportunity here to one person to maybe give their submission as I ask my speakers to give their closing remarks. Any other person that would love to give a submission? Okay, I see a hand. Okay, Chris, please, you may go ahead in 30 seconds, comrade.
Thank you very much. Coming up again, trying to focus on two things about youth and women. One thing to advise to young people. These elders, sometimes they try to give us the opportunities to lead. But when we are given an opportunity, instead of performing to the level that would be showing that we are able, we end up getting some sort of personal interest, which again ends up proving that young people are not yet matured in performing the leadership tasks. So for us who are here, whenever you get an opportunity of saving the country or saving your governments in any way, we should also try to slow down this greedy. You find that you grab everything to yourself, forgetting about other people, and at the end of the day, the definition goes to all young people. I have a very good example regarding the women also. We Tanzanians now have a president, a madam, Her Excellency President Samia Suluhu Hassan. She has been doing a very good job now, though she was not voted, and I don't know if she could be standing to be voted, a majority could be voting for her. But now, after some sort of circumstances which are unavoidable, she is in power. She has shown a lot, very good decisions in some areas, and every person may be having some sort of weaknesses, but in leadership skills, she shows that women also can be able to perform very well. We have some ministers who are very young also in some positions in Tanzania. We have Umi Mwalimu, following to mention in few. She has been doing very well. So women and young people, instead of just waiting to be given an opportunities or these special seats, we can try to contest, try to chip in. We may end up getting some sort of expected fruits. And for those who are in, let them show the way that we can do better and better. I don't want to share the issue of Mozambique due to some sort of, I cannot speak much about it, but Cabo Delgado, but we are very sorry for Cabo Delgado, guys, because I think it's a province that is facing a lot of challenges. We are very sorry for that. Sure.
Indeed, my brother. Thank you so much, brother Chris. Quickly, MDC Alliance. I mean, not know if it's that's brother Chris, because we have to I think we're about to wind up now. So I'm going to ask my speakers to just give their closing remarks, and then we see how we can quickly wrap it all up. Pearl, you may please give your closing remarks.
Thank you so much. I think I just wanted to touch on the kind of solutions that we need to be applying or implementing. And I think most of the speakers highlighted the fact that there's a bit of a challenge when it comes to accountability. And it honestly just comes from having, like SADC, having over-ambitious targets. And, you know, the failure to meet these targets has also set some sort of a bad precedent of the region's endeavors, and most of which would most likely end up in, you know, dismissal failure. We also have the issue of the differences in the SADC economies, whereby it's just characterized by acute economic imbalances as well as inequalities. Now, most of these, the most important of these imbalances, like, has been in terms of the different nature of levels of economic status, and we need to be able to have proper economic reforms, especially when it comes to our policies. In terms of youth and women, I think we need to start mobilizing the youth vote and mobilizing for more women and youth within our parliaments and within governance and policy reforms. Having them participate more actually just enables for our voices not to be tamed, and maybe for some of our issues, be it social, economic, they can be addressed because we know what needs to be done, and we can only be the voice to that. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so much. I think before I can read the right now, I think my brother Gift just sent in a message to say thank you for the platform. My network has been acting up. I hope to join more of these meetings as we cross political, social, and economic ideas as leaders, not of tomorrow, but today. Thank you once more. Thank you so much, comrade. Madam Pearl, in less than 10 seconds, what is your message to Southern African youth? In less than 10 seconds, what is your message to Southern African youth?
Thank you so much for this platform as well. And I'd just like to say, let us network, let us come together, let us try and come up with solutions to our issues. Because we need, someone talked about youth being the vuvuzelas. We cannot always be the ones complaining. We need to be solution-driven youth and come up and also be be able to come up with effective solutions to that and be able to implement and account for those. So that is my stance. And go youth, go women. I'd like to see more women in parliament. I'd like to see more women running for elections. We're going into elections in the next year, and that is what we're fighting for. So let us stand in solidarity and have so much love for our country and our continent. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Pearl. If you go in our chat box, there's a message there that is asking us to join the YouLead Telegram group. There's so much opportunity that YouLead has for all of us on this platform that are engaging, and I wouldn't want you guys to be left out. When we put our minds together to unify our voices and action in order to have one agenda for all young people in Africa. I think it's important that we be part of what YouLead is trying to champion. So please, I'm asking that we all join the Telegram group for YouLead so that we can all have first-hand information of what YouLead is doing, the programs they are pushing, the summit that is coming up in November. I'm very excited, looking forward to that amazing summit that is yet to be unveiled. So to everyone that has been managed to join us on this amazing platform, I want to say thank you so much for being part of this amazing platform, where we engage, we deliberate on the Africa that we all want to see for ourselves. This Africa depends on you, my fellow young people. Southern Africa depends on you. East Africa depends on you. The whole lot of Africa depends on you. The Agenda 2063 will not be fulfilled by the current set of elder leaders that we have, but it will be fulfilled by the young people that are speaking, that are listening to us on this amazing platform. As the speakers have already stated, I think everything has been said. There's need for us to rethink the governance we want to see for ourselves in order to create the SADC that we all envision. There's need for us to hold hands together in order to strengthen regional integration in the SADC region. There's need for us to walk the talk in order to bring peace in Mozambique. There's need for us to champion a unified cause, even as we seek to build back better, looking at the impact that COVID-19 has had. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much and God bless.
The YouLead Summit 2021 is here. Since 2017, the YouLead Summit has been jointly convened by the East African Community and MS Training Center for Development Cooperation in Arusha, Tanzania. This annual climax event is now East Africa's largest and most diverse forum for young leaders, mentors, government policymakers, development partners, academia, media, private sector, and civil society from all over the continent to craft responses to the continent's rapidly growing youth population, their challenges and opportunities. Wondering how to become a delegate? Head over to our website www.youleadsummit.org. Follow the prompts and enter all the required information and submit. After submission, your application will go through assessment, review, and finally admission. Admitted delegates will be announced weekly on our platforms until we officially close applications. One day before the summit, delegates will be able to log in and get acquainted with our virtual space. You will be able to visit partner booths and product stands, check the forums you've registered for, view the conferencing environment, confirm venues for all your sessions, network with fellow delegates via our live chat room and lounge, and view the conference schedule. Once the summit kicks off, you will be ushered into our virtual summit lobby where you can ask questions at the info desk and speak directly to us. At this point, you can navigate to different areas of the summit. The exhibition hall. Here you will find a collection of booths by our partners and sponsors.
In these booths, you can interact with our partners and sponsors directly via live chat, and you can view and save uploaded documents and videos, as well as view products and services. Auditoriums. The YouLead Summit comprises several thematic sessions: the Under 40 Political Leaders Forum, the Arusha Peace Forum, the Gender Equality Forum, the Arusha Debates partner-led workshop sessions, and East Africa to Bonge. You will have access to all these auditoriums where you can watch live and semi-live and delegates in between sessions. So log on to www.youleadsummit.org to register and apply.